Welcome back, and in this segment we will be talking about complementary or functional medicine, which is a way of treatment that goes parallel to the conventional medicine, and it's important because it deals with the well-being of your body and your mind, whether through exercising properly, using acupuncture, using the yoga, using nutrition, as well as herbal therapy and more, using everything in our environment and surrounding us for our well-being, so that would be fit and healthy body and soul and mind. And today I'm happy to have with me Dr. Amira Abdel, specialist in that field. She is an Egyptian who is living in the United States, and she's here visiting Egypt. Welcome with us, doctor.
Thank you.
Dr. Amira, thank you very much for being
Thank
with
you.
us today on Nile Cruise. If we can start by the definition of functional medicine, what does that mean?
It, what comes from that word function, so we want to be to function, and the mind is the normal function. How does your body work? And it is not, it's every is styled or tailored, depend on each person. And it goes all the way back from the essence on when you were conception. So what is your, were you conceived, the situation of your parents, what happened in the last years? If somebody comes to now in their 30s, 40s, or 50s or on, they're having a problem. So I go and I ask them, tell me your story. What is your story? And it's not just I have a diagnosis or I have a problem. No, tell me more. What is your lifestyle? What's your family looks like? What is the way you eat? How you behave? What's your stress level? What are your laboratory? I need to see the whole picture. So from the whole picture, I can get things. We don't go just by diagnosis. We just go by the problem that caused the diagnosis. And mostly is internally is the body, and like I said, with the mind. And the mind is not just because stress. The mind comes, a lot of people will say with their function of their how they eat affect their psychological issue. So like we have a lot of children who had attention deficit disorder, and the hyperactivity. Do you go back, it is not just hormonal or just the way from they were born. It's also based on what they started their nutrition from their birth, how they were eating and all that.
Now, doctor, how can we lead a functional and healthy life? What do we need to do?
Uh, it's very simple, it's basic, and it's everywhere. But you have to also consider the environment that you live in. So a lot of people come and say, well, here in, for instance, example, we live in Egypt. Well, we have pollution, it's too crowded, da, 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 da. It is, but you have a choice. I always say, people, you have a choice to. You cannot eliminate all what you're surrounding, but you can make a choice for yourself. You're the one who decide what you want to do. You want to feel healthy. You want to feel better. What can I do to make myself better? So take the I. What do I need for myself to be able to help others? If you're a mother, you help others. If I'm a single person, how I'm going to get married and all that. So the basic goes for what? Nutrition, hydration, exercise. So this is the basic. Our body is built on what? Food and water, and also breathing. So you have to remember how to breathe. Unfortunately, we breathe always on the stress. It's like go, go, go. We don't take the really deep breath, which it comes into like the yoga, meditation, all that. Relaxation to take the proper clean air all the way down to the cells level.
Dr. Amira, you're also a specialist in complementary medicine and
Yes.
energy.
Yes.
So, what is the importance of energy? What is the definition of one's energy or aura or the chakra or whatever they may call it?
It's important, you don't have to say it by that. You can tell people, like, if they say, oh, no, this is something far out for me to speak, I have to come to their level and say, we're all part of the energy. This is, if we no energy, we won't be alive, right? So, but it's important because to keep our body and mind balanced. So if you're disconnected and your head psychologically is somewhere else and your body is not healthy because you're not eating right, you don't have the balance of the energy from the body and mind together. So, but it has proven in all type of culture, all type of religion, they always talked about the energy, in some type of word or another. So it has to be balanced to function in our lives. you know.
Now,
So
doctor, I understand that also acupuncture is another
yes,
tool that's being employed.
yes.
So, how is it done? Like, can anybody get acupuncture done, or does it need certain cases that are it?
It's acupuncture is so beautiful. It's 5,000 years. I mean, and they treated all kind of illnesses, modalities, any kind of alignment. So they those days is amazing. And when you go back again, it was treated in the Arabic medicine. It treated in Islamic medicine. It treated in some kind of either pressure. It doesn't have to be the needle, so you call it acupressure, or treated with some kind of the herbal. So the Chinese medicine is not just the acupuncture, which is the needle, it's also the herbs, the nutrition, they call it like the cupping, you know. So all this belongs to it. But I've seen a lot of people heal because it works. The acupuncture, the needle, when it's inserted, it goes in the energy of the body. So we have so many circuits, and it divides the organs into parts. It's the five, you know, they take the elements, which is what the earth and water and the wood and metal, and these are all the elements that we really need. Without it, we're not going to be alive. So, but it's amazing. I've seen people just treated for pain, headache, as simple as these things. But internally, I've seen them here with different diseases. And this nice thing about it right now, even in China, if you go to the hospital, they treat both together with the Western and implement it also with the Eastern medicine. So this is always, I say, we have to work together.
So how can we be balancing the energy of one's body?
By simple doing, number one, also hydration. That is so number one. If you're not well hydrated, you're not balanced. Without any water in the body, adequate hydration, the body is not balanced. Is that it needs electricity, needs water to
It's
conduction.
not about the season. It's not just about the summer season.
No.
It's all around the year.
All around the year, and definitely around the year. And then nutrition. So even if you say, well, I'll do yoga, I do meditation, I do body energy, but are you eating right? Are you detoxing your body? Are you, you know, because unfortunately you cannot prevent the pollution around the world and wherever you are, but how are you doing self-detoxing? Are you doing self-nutrition? Are you doing adequate hydration? So that needs to be balanced to be able to balance the body and go into meditation, go into relaxation, all these things.
Now, how can we detect the method we need to be treated with? Like we have acupuncture, we have the aromatherapy.
Yes.
There's something called Alexander technique, which I don't know what it is.
Yes, it's some type of
yeah.
massage which works
Yeah.
with a neurosystem, neuromuscular system.
So how can we detect which
one to
method
take?
to take? Yeah.
That's a good question. I like that because I'm pretty qualified in a lot of modalities. So what I tell people is the basic is I want to see your function internally, what it is. What is the problem? What is the basic things that you're missing out of it? What is your lab work? I want to see people do lab work. Here I hear a lot of people are iron deficient, vitamin D deficient, calcium deficient, vitamin C deficient. So these are elements that you need nutrition so essential. And then you do it. So for instance, if you're deficient, whatever you do, a massage, you do yoga, you're not going to function well. So you have to get the basic right. And then I say, yeah, for instance, the Alexander technique is very good. But if your muscles are tensed and your bones are malnutrition, you don't have the adequate calcium. So no matter I come to adjust you, you're not going to do well. So you have to always go. So aromatherapy, yes, aromas is very essential. I'm always walking with my oils, my essential oils, and my needles too. So whenever I see somebody stressed, here, let me function. So aromatherapy is good, but still, I call it is just temporary. If you want to heal within yourself and be really adequate, you still have to, like a plant, without sun, light, and water, you don't have a plant.
So you have lived in the United States for many years.
Yes.
And you've mentioned that maybe in China there is the Western treatment
Yes.
and the Eastern treatment
Yes.
at the same time.
Yes.
How are things in the United States?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. There are some states, I would say, I don't want to be prejudiced or something, but some states are more advanced than others. Some areas, they're still behind. Think about it, surprisingly. But I'm hoping with the next maybe 5 years, they will advance. Because why they're advancing? Because the people are asking for it. They're seeking and they're seeing that medicine or the medication or the Western medicine is not only solution. So they see the other things. It has to work by hand. You know, I always tell people an example. Like I work, my background in the medical field is mostly trauma, intensive care. If somebody, God forbid, got hit by a car and brought in, I'm not going to say, okay, let me do aromatherapy, let me do this thing, you know. But I have to come, treat the basic, and then add the modality. So I work in a hospital in North Carolina. We had the Department of Integrative Medicine. We entered the acupuncture, acupressure, even in the intensive care. We used the aromatherapy because we saw, we did study. I was practiced in some study, and if I don't mind mentioning the name, was Duke University. It's very well known. And we did a study to show that integrative with the energy work, with the sound, with the music, that it lowered the blood pressure, lowered the heart rate, okay, and the patient was relaxed. So when you have those three items you know, done as a normal, then what is going to happen if he goes have to have a procedure? We use less what sedation, we use less anesthesia. So if you use less medication and anesthesia, the recovery is going to be what faster, because the more medication or anesthesia is in your system, it takes time to be what excreted out of your body, because you already have a problem because you entered to have a procedure done. And it was amazing because the doctor would say, hey, come on, back off of that energy work. You're getting me so sedated. I need that heart rate to go up a little bit more, you know. And it's amazing if we have that patient on a monitor and we see that his blood pressure, he comes in over 200 systolically and over 100 diastolically, and he comes down to 120 over 80 within 30 minutes. What proof more I can tell? You know, this is amazing. Yeah. So, but it's advancing, and I'm hoping more and more. We have the VA, which is the Veteran Administration. They started to implement with them. A lot of the veterans, they come back with them, you know, mental issues, stress and pain. We're implementing now acupuncture to manage pain management. So it's beautiful. I love it. I'm so
Now,
happy.
it's so diverse, and I find the one that really needs skill.
Yes.
But that's my personal
Okay.
point of view. Is when you're being a chiropractic or you're doing chiropractic medicine, because you have really to align the bones properly, and any touch can either cause healing or entire damage. So, how is that done? Can anybody be a chiropractor if he's a doctor, a general physician, or does it need special training?
Yes, definitely.
And
In
would
the
it differ
US,
from one person to another, the way you treat
Yes.
the bones and the,
Yes, exactly.
the spine?
Listen, any kind of modality, even as simple as yoga, as meditation, you know, we say energy and yoga, massage, a chiropractic, aromatherapy, all have side effects. You know, the yoga, you can make a position, you can pull a muscle. The chiropractic can make a misjudge you and misadjustment, it can make it damage. So that's why you always have to research to see that person. What is their background? What is the study? Are they really good? Ask question appropriately, you know, what their background is. I believe in chiropractic. I do it. But when people say, I said, no, I went and I tried them and they do. I always talk to my clients. I say, before you go have a chiro adjustment, go have a massage. And then after the massage, go have a chiropractic adjustment. And they say, why? I said, I give you an example. Your bones are very stiff and the muscles are very tense. How can you adjust like something that is so tense? Relax the muscle, relax yourself, then your manipulation for the bone adjustment is going to be much easier. So very simple.
Can we see more and more of it in Egypt here, the complementary, the alternative medicines, the energy treatments? Can we see more of it here in Egypt?
I see more, and I'm very happy to see that, and I see a lot of practitioners are coming, they're going in the Far East or Europe or so are doing it, and I'm excited about that. And I tell clients, I would ask more questions, and we need it. If they do it in the Far East and Europe and in the U.S. and all over the world, why Egypt is going to be different, right? We need it, and that doesn't have an effect with the medical or the Western kind of medicine. Like I say, well, let's work together, to help the people, the community, to make them heal faster. And some people say, oh, the question is like, oh, well, if they're fixed and healed, unfortunately, the finance comes in place. Well, they're not going to come back again. It's like, you know what? They'll come with different. They will recommend other people to you. So I think it's the working as a team. It's a nice thing. It's the community work. That's my way of thinking.
Doctor, is there a difference between a comprehensive or functional medicine and alternative medicine?
Alternative word was used years ago. Okay, I've been in that field for 30 plus years. So that's how they started these on those days, because they figured, oh, I'm going to fix that. But as we did the research and studied, if you look back, that was the basic. 5,000 years we're talking about it, 1,000 years like reflexology, from the days of the pharaohs. You can see the pictures on the tombs that they were doing. They were doing the aromatherapy. So look at the mummies, how preserved they are. So they must have the technology, that they were able to preserve the body until the centuries and years, BC and now that. So so they start moving the word. So they used it first alternative, and then they used the integrative medicine. And integrative to me was very more, I would say, kosher, more practical, because you integrate it both together. And I think that is a proper word. The functional now with the Dr. Mark Hyman, who's really promoting it, and up in Ohio, a clinic over there, is more because we have to be individual. We're all individualized. Whatever I like or whatever works with me might not work with you. So I think this is more appropriate. Yeah.
If we can speak more about women here in
Yes.
Egypt.
Yes.
How do you think these treatments, would be good for them after the age of 40 maybe?
I would love for them to before that, of course. But I always say the age of 40, because nowadays we're seeing a lot of people are going early in the menopause. It used to be like in the 50s and that, but they're starting to have the sign of symptoms or hormonal changes in the 40s. So that's why, and why is that? Due to adequate, not adequate nutrition, the hydration, the stress level is high, which is affecting the hormone.
The lifestyle itself.
Yes, exactly. So the lifestyle is affecting the hormone. If you notice, even the teenager, when do they start the menstrual period? They're starting even younger, or sometimes they're starting too old. We have age limit to it. So now why you're 19 and 20 and your period is not regulated, or you start now at 8 or 9 years old and you're starting your period. What is that? Due to the food, due to the stress that they have, inadequate nutrition. So definitely all ages. But the biggest thing, because women are seeing a lot of issues, they say they're falling their hair, their facial skin changes, and they say, well, when I use cream and I want to use that, you know what? Let's fix the inside before the outside.
Now, doctor, that would lead us to fixing the outside.
Yes.
As you've mentioned, you said, let's fix the inside first.
Yes.
Most of us now, what we do is, okay, I'm having this problem, so you do all these night and day creams, and
Yes.
then if it doesn't work, then you start Botox, and then you start filling,
Yes.
and eventually sometimes it doesn't go away, because the more you do Botox, the
Yes.
more your skin relaxes in a sense, and you have to do more Botox till you're
Yes.
like a balloon. How can we create a balance? And to what extent is this type, like putting chemicals in our body, is good or bad?
Definitely, Botox, what it's made out of. It's not very good for your system. And it's like I say, the more you put, it's going to fix it temporarily. It's not permanent. So the nutrition is so important. The hydration is so important. If you want to do it, do it. I mean, but if it's still prepare the inside and fix it. Because the outside is really, actually now the big fad in the US is the facial rejuvenation with acupuncture. If you go to New York and that, it's very, very, very expensive. A session will cost you between 4 to 500, that one session. And and it's like it's going because they're seeing results. And the nutritionist or the who's doing the acupuncture, they give the herbal and nutrition. They say, I'm going to do this session, but you need to help me. Let's feed you from the inside, and I'll do the outside.
Can acupuncture remove wrinkles? Sorry, Ahmed. It's just I'm very interested in that you
Yes.
can remove wrinkles with acupuncture.
Yes. Our facial, it has so many nerves. It implements or reflects the whole body. You know, when I look at the body, I said, yeah, I can tell that you're having problem with your kidneys. Yeah, you're having problem with your lungs. You have problem with your heart. Oh, your liver, you're having an issue. And you can see that if you recall, if somebody has darkness around the eye or discoloration of the eye color becomes yellow right away, you know what? It's the liver. Right? So every piece of your facial expression reflects to your internal, your teeth, your gums, your lips, your ears, you know, so it's amazing. Yeah. So that's how we're treating. So people are more conscious to minimize the toxin into internally taken. So they're going to acupuncture, facial rejuvenation with the acupuncture.
Yes. Fixing the inside
Uh-huh.
would be reflected on the outside. That's a very
Yes.
important quote that you just said
Exactly.
minutes ago. How can we do that, and how is this a proof that you need to be psychologically well to be looking good on the outside?
The big thing what's going on, they say, let food be your medicine.
Food
Food be your medicine.
and hydration, of course.
Of course.
Uh-huh.
That's it, concluded food that. But food is your healing part. When you eat well, if you add sugar, carbohydrates, toxin, that's it, you're feeding. I'll give you an example. When you have a car, are you going to go put in your car, are you going to change oil? I say, well, let me go put gasoline in with the oil. Would you do that?
No.
No, that's it. So you don't have car anymore. If your red light goes on in the car and says, "Oh, no more oil," you say, so what? I'm going to continue. I'll fix it. Somebody, you know, they'll take me there, and then suddenly the car is what, burning, right? We're doing this to our body. You know,
Now,
but
doctor, actually, that would lead us to another question,
Uh-huh.
because now all the food already is rich in its hormones and
Yes.
hormones, and very, very few items you'd find organic.
yes.
And it's, of course, some people can't afford organic. So how can we create a balance between that we are eating the greenhouses and sometimes the fertilizers and the hormones, and still we want to have a healthy body from within?
Definitely. It's a big issue, and unfortunately it's not here. It's in the US. We're struggling with that too also. There's other countries minimized or eliminated all the hormone. But I'm glad to hear there's a few farmers are here in Egypt or having organic. I would say make the choices. You have the choice. You cannot prevent everything. But if you are eating and you don't know, try to make selection. You know, if it's a fresh vegetable, pick see where it comes from. Make a choice. I'll pay a little bit extra with organic than in vegetables. Minimize all, if there is a meat with hormones, and minimize. I'm not going to say eliminate it. If you can eliminate that, okay, that's your choice. But I will eat it. But then I would learn to detoxify myself.
Yes. How?
Is how? By doing cleansing. So cleansing by meat, there's the juicing. There's a few companies here I know already in Egypt. They do the proper juicing with organic juice. Simple fasting. You know, in all religion, they have the fasting. Unfortunately, we mistreat the fasting here. And I say, my God, my fasting is more sugar. It's like, oh my God, that's not fasting anymore. This is party time, right? So use the proper fasting by minimizing minimizing all the toxin and increasing the things by lemon juice, for instance, by fresh fruits and vegetable. That's the part. That's the dux. If a lot of people from here they go overseas and do that, why you go and spend all that money? Spend it here in your own home and enjoy the beautiful places that you have and use that. But it needs a lot of. I feel like the people, like I was just telling people before I came in. Unfortunately, people here needs a coaching. They need help, like anything, like soccer game, like a football game, basketball. That's what's missing in the equation here for Egypt. That we need people to coach others and help them to guide them what's right.
Well,
So,
I'd like to thank you very much, Dr. Amira Abdel Kader, the specialist in complementary and functional medicine and energy. Thank you very much, Doctor, for this
thank you.
interview.
Thank you,
Welcome. It's a
doctor.
pleasure. I enjoyed it.
Well, now we will be going to a quick break, but we'll be back for more on Nile Cruise, so stay with us.